Good afternoon, YWCA friends, family, and mission squad. This is a special mini-series of the Butterfly Effect, where we're going to get to know our new YWCA Northeastern New York board members together. This is Series 3, Episode 7 of the Butterfly Effect, where we interview inspiring women to hopefully inspire you tuning in. We'll continue this series in November with new hosts and guests with a focus on Homelessness Awareness Month as well as gratitude. Today, we have Ashtin Givens, who's one of the new YWCA board members and just voted in a couple months ago. Welcome, Ashtin.
Thank you.
We interviewed each other. We talked before on the Butterfly Effect. I don't know if that was last year or the year prior, but now you're in the capacity of a new YW board member. So I'm so excited to talk to you again, kind of in this new role. How long? So we did the vote in May, right?
Yep.
And so you're now officially part of the YWCA board. So
Yes.
How exciting is that?
Very. I'm definitely excited to be part of it. So
yeah, you've been a big supporter for a long time, so we're certainly happy to have you involved now at this level. Can you tell, for those that don't know you, a little bit about yourself? You know, who you are, what you do, kind of what you want to tell us about yourself.
Sure. So I am born and raised here in the Troy area. I now live in Glenville. I went to college in Plattsburgh, moved away for a little while, and I think we all kind of come back after a while. I do, I guess you can say I do sales for CLE Office Systems, 40-year-old business up in Glens Falls. So we specialize in copiers and office supplies. That's pretty much me. I have a daughter who's 9, and we live in Glenville currently. So that's pretty much me.
Yeah, it's time consuming, right? You got a lot going on.
Yes, always busy, but I can't complain.
Yeah. How, speaking of that, how do you balance work life and home life? What are your kind of strategies? How do you take care of yourself and balance those two important roles?
So I struggled with that for a really long time. I think when I joined CLE 2.5 years ago, I made it very clear to myself and my organization that, my family comes first. I'm going to do what I need to do during the day. But once 5 o'clock rolls around or 5:30 or whatever the case may be, I do have to shut it down. I can't say I don't work sometimes when she goes to bed, but I try to make myself fully present because I didn't do that for a long time. And I feel like I missed out on quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody that I've talked to so far, from the board, that question, we really talk about boundaries. It's really about setting boundaries. And I feel like the older you get, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
Lessons learned, hindsight's 2020. But time is one of our most valuable resources. So as we grow and you kind of align, prioritize, in your life, it's definitely a good skill set to develop as you mentioned. So tell me about a role model or mentor that you have currently or that you have had in the past, and what were the qualities that kind of inspired you from them?
So I was thinking about this, and I've been asked this before. I've been very fortunate in my work life to have had a mentor and a strong role model, and whether it be my boss or someone who worked alongside me. So I don't have one person necessarily that I can think of, but I have been fortunate where as my career has progressed, I've always had that person that I've kind of latched onto and learned from, and I think a lot of it is, yes, are they a leader? Are they, higher up than I am? Yes, but they never made me feel that way. They really were in my corner and they wanted me to succeed. And they always made me feel like they were there for me and we were on the same page. So I've been really fortunate there. So not one person that I can say, but I've had quite a few over the years.
Yeah. And isn't that interesting? Like, I've been to different trainings and workshops on like leadership. But there is something really authentic about a really good leader that it really can't be taught. It's kind of an inherent quality that someone has. And when you find someone that kind of has that, it's so vital to have them in your corner. They can just teach you so much. So not to say that certain qualities can't be taught, but when you find someone that really is like kind of that born leader type of personality, it's really valuable for sure. So definitely agree with that. Now something kind of fun to kind of get to know you a little. I love the answers that have been coming into this question. They crack me up. Some people go very like tactical, and other people talk about like what they would want on a deserted island. So, if you were stranded on a deserted island, what three things would you want with you, and why?
I guess mine's tactical too. I'm like, okay, if I'm on a deserted island, how am I going to survive? Well, I need food and I need water. So those are just like the two basic things, but I wouldn't want to be on that deserted island without my daughter. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say food, water, and my little babe right
Yeah,
there. So yeah, I
you're
guess I could
stranded.
say,
She's stranded, right?
and I'm like, I think that we're both pretty resourceful at this point. That if we had to like,
That's true.
make things or do things, I think we could handle it. But
Nice. I
and
love that.
yeah.
Awesome. Tell us something unique about you that you would want others to know.
Unique. So, fun fact, I sell copiers for a living, as I said earlier, but I actually got my 4-year degree in human development and family relations. Not many people
Wow.
do that.
Yeah.
So, I think for me, that's kind of why I've gravitated toward the nonprofit space because I really thought that that's what I was going to do and be. And I'm kind of at this point in my life, well, okay, I have the experience and I have the skill set there. How can I kind of link that to my professional life? So it does have a lot to do with the YW mission and other
Yeah.
people that I've worked with throughout the way.
Hmm.
But not many people know that. So
Yeah.
I got my degree and I'm not really using it, but I try to make it as applicable as I can. For like
Yeah.
for you guys and other organizations. So.
Yeah. I mean, we've known each other for a few years now, and that's the first time I've heard that. And I think that's such a great, like, because there's a lot of us that don't end up necessarily where we thought we would, when you
Mhm.
first set out in college, or maybe your work doesn't translate to your personal passion, but to be able to kind of like strategize your life in a way that you can still do what you're passionate about through your work and outside of work. I mean, I think that's such good advice for people that might feel kind of stuck or kind of not everybody's work has that like bigger purpose in life. Like we feel blessed to work at the Y because we really our mission is so huge, and a lot of us really believe strongly in what we're doing here. And but we do take advantage of that sometimes. We realize that all work cultures are not like that.
Right, right.
So that's great advice. Where do you draw your inspiration from, especially getting through a really hard day?
I would definitely say my daughter. It's been her and I for many years, and I have those eyes looking at me all of the time. I have her most of the time, so my life is completely consumed by that. And I want her to grow up and be an independent, strong person. And every decision that I make and every move that I make, she's watching me.
Yeah.
And I have to, even when I'm having a bad day, I can't go home and be grouchy. I can't, I'm always on the chopping block. I know that probably isn't the right statement, I guess. Um, but I want her to thrive and I want her to succeed and I want her to see what I do on a daily basis to, give her the things that she has.
Yeah.
So, and that too. You have a little one at home too.
Yeah.
So, we're all kind of in that same boat. I want her to be proud of me, but I also want her to be able to survive when she's out on her own. So,
yeah, that's, I mean, gosh, you and I on that have talked many times. You're never really off the clock when it's just you, or you most of the time. And like you said, if you have a bad day, to have that wherewithal to not come home and be, even though you want to be, it's been that day. Like you said, they're watching, they're listening, they're learning from what your reactions are. And yeah, I once heard like you always that look you get when your child walks into the room, like you want them always to know that you feel like that when you see them, like you're just so excited to see them and you love them so much. And yeah, so some of our own stuff has to be put by the wayside on the worst day. So
yeah. And it's
a
hard
hard
to do.
skill.
It's a really hard thing to do. I'm like, I want to get mad about everything because that's just the day that I've had. And I'm like,
Yeah.
can't do that. I'm not going to say I never do because I'm human, but I do my best. But.
Yeah. Yep. Can you name a significant event in your life that shaped who you are?
So I would say probably when I lost my grandfather in 2006. Um, he basically raised me. He was my guy. He was my go-to as a kid, and all throughout. So when he passed away, I think for me it was, I want him to be proud of me. I want to, instill in, my child and, me as a person. I want to instill all of the things that he taught me throughout my childhood. So I guess in the back of my mind, he's always kind of driven me to want more and to do more because he's watching me. So it was definitely, that was the one loss that I had that was probably the most significant, that I've had so far in my life. And I don't deal well. Anybody that knows me personally knows that I don't take loss well,
Yeah.
with anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really dark time in my life. And, I could have either went down that dark path or, continued to move along. And I did. And, it's hard some days, but I would like to think that he would be proud of who I am and what I'm trying to do every day.
Yeah. I think you've accomplished that. I think you would. When you hear our mission at the Y, eliminating racism, empowering women, promoting peace, justice, and freedom and dignity for all, tell me about how you hope to make an impact on the board of the YW.
I've been, like you said, I've been on the butterfly effect before, and I kind of shared, bits and pieces of my personal story and, how I am a survivor. I think for me, being part of the advocacy committee, that I want people to know that there are resources. Feeling alone, and I said this before, feeling alone is the worst possible thing ever. I want people to know that the Y is there. The Y can help. If the Y can't directly help, they'll connect you with somebody who can.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot of what I want to get across. I want people to get involved. I want people to, participate and, advocate for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a lot of what I want to do, because I know people know the YW, but on a bigger scale, it could be bigger.
Yeah.
With anything.
Yeah.
So if there is anything that I want to contribute, I really just want to help, and I want to get involved, and I want to make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. So many of our board members, I mean, all of them probably, whether they've shared publicly or not, have been directly impacted by our mission, whether they love someone who's gone through something or they've experienced it themselves. It's something that, as women, too often speaks to many of us, and to be able to kind of stand behind the agency and kind of show people that, we're trying to reduce that stigma, and just like you said, ensure that people know that help is out there. I think that's so important, and I think you bring a really valuable kind of vantage point to the board. So thank you for that. Thanks for sharing that. Is there anything else that you want to share with people watching or tuning in that we haven't touched on yet?
I don't think so. I want to see more people get involved. I want to see, it be bigger than it already is. Even just like the little things, adopting a family at Christmas time. It's just even the little things help.
Yeah.
I think really getting involved and being on the board, I want to help. And that's all it comes down to. Whether it's, my background with school or what I went through, it all ties in together.
Yeah.
And I just want more people to get involved and be a voice for us as well.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I really thank you for your time today. For those that are watching, below Ashtin and I is a little ticker banner scrolling that has our website information and our phone number. We've got a lot of events coming up over the next few months. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. November is Homelessness Awareness Month. We've got the Vagina Monologues coming up on September 29th. So if you want to get involved and you maybe don't need our program service areas, this is how to support. Show up, be present, stand with us at Take Back the Night March coming up in October. All these things that are happening directly tie into our mission, and all the proceeds go right back into the programs and to help people going through these situations. So, Ashtin, thank you for your time today. We hope that we've add a little positivity to people's day, and tune in next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks, Lauren.